Hello everyone. So, I want to talk about something today that really angers me more than anything. And that is police officers disobeying federal law. Their job is to serve and protect the community, not abuse the community. You know, it really, I don't know, I'm very angry about our current situation that police officers get away with disobeying federal law. And they're legally not supposed to. Like, there's this one video, I don't mean to be so graphic, and if you're sensitive to any of the topics that I will talk about, please click off this video. I seen a video where somebody called the police because this guy, he's an exterminator, and he had a pellet gun. And the cops are called, and then this police officer, oh my god, I couldn't believe the video. So, he had them kneeling on the floor, he was yelling at them, and, the guy was being super, respectful. And then the police officer kept on giving him, impossible orders, saying, if you make one mistake, I will fucking kill you. Those exact words. Made one mistake, dead. He's dead now. The police officer went to trial. You want to know what the jury said? Not guilty. Not guilty. And I guarantee you that the families of the individual that was killed, I guarantee you that didn't go to appellate court. That really angers me to no end. It just angers me. The fact that the police officer is like, no, I call the orders, you obey. I'm tired of police officers abusing power. It really angers me to no end. And I feel like abuse of power should be called for life in prison. It really angers me. Citizens record what police officers are doing wrong. Nothing happens. Absolutely nothing happens. And keep in mind, if you have watched the video, the guy is a white guy. So it's not a race thing, it's an abuse of power thing. And that's what really fucking pisses me off, is that police officers are pinned to medals, are given rewards, and they continuously abuse citizens day in and day out. It pisses me off. And then, so that video made me really, so I do have suicidal tendencies, and that did make me suicidal. And then I had a thought experiment, I wonder if I were to, not that I did or was going to, but I wonder if I were to call 911 and ask them if they could send a police officer to voluntarily kill me. And I wonder if that's, I don't know. See, this is why we need a new government. We need a new government because, let's be honest, America is not a democracy. It is not a democracy. We don't get to vote in anything. Electoral College gets to vote for us. And the Electoral College is nothing but coups and corruption. And, like, I don't know. I'm just beyond angry. Because, like, I don't know. There's a lot of good police officers out there. Lots of them. And I lived in a town where we had amazing police officers. But I just feel like with the police officers that are disobeying federal law, they're giving police officers a terrible, terrible name. And it pisses me off. They get to disobey federal law and get away with it. They get to torture citizens and abuse them, and they get to get away with it. See, if I were to run this country, let's say that we install a new government. Let's say that I become the leader of this government. I would follow what Karl Marx did. Hang on. I would do what Karl Marx did. And Karl Marx would be fucking furious. Would be angry. He'd be flabbergasted. He'd be petrified at the sight that he would see. It pisses me off that I don't know. I'm lost for words. And not only that, but the racial profiling and unfair bias towards minorities. We're another CCP. CCP is no better than we are. And we're no better than them. If you don't know what the CCP is, I'm talking about the Communist Party of China. And honestly, we need a new government. We need a new socialist government where everyone is equal, where the government has full control over, but not like, Illuminati bullshit, not like they control the citizens, but like they must legally fund hospitals, roads, bridges, teachers, police officers, first responders, firefighters, social workers, road workers, including truckers. Everything else should be left up to the citizens. And citizens should have a say in what goes on with the government. A direct say. A direct democracy. A direct socialist democracy. See, if we were to live in a socialist democracy, this shit wouldn't be happening right now. The police officers who kill citizens on a regular daily basis would be given life sentences. I don't understand as to why we don't fight for a new government. Because clearly capitalism is not working. What good thing has capitalism done for you? Like, honestly, capitalism causes exploitation, it causes unfair bias, it causes unfair treatment. Capitalism is not good. It's good for rich people, but not good for citizens. Not good for people like you and me. Not for people who fund the government. I feel like... So this is how I would have the government ran. There would be a camera in every courtroom, in every prison, on every police officer, I would have a channel that you could tune into. A channel on YouTube, a channel on TV, over the air, something that you can tune into to see what your government is paying for, to see what you are paying for. And if you don't like it, you should be able to say something about it. I don't know. My mind is all over the place, because I would love to overthrow this capitalist society that we live in. A capitalist society that continuously kills people. And I want to talk about the flaws of society. Of the dangerous capitalist society that we live in. Not only do we have a class system, but we have corporations telling us what to do. And even worse, the government is allowing it. Instead of the government being like, no, private corporations are legally not allowed to interfere with government anything. That'd be great. But no, we don't live in that government. But so I don't mean to bring up any of the meat and dairy industry and the pharmaceutical industry, but they do put a big handful as to what we do and as to what we eat, as to what we do, as to the medications that we take. So, the meat and dairy industry and the pharmaceutical industry are the best of friends. And now you're probably saying, well, what does this have to do with capitalism? Well, so let's say that you're going to the hospital and you're getting tested for cancer. The doctor says, and they're getting their information from the meat and dairy industry. The doctor says, we're going to get you on this medication. Not only that, but I want you on this special diet. I want you on an all-white meat diet. Chicken has been linked to causes of cancer. So the doctor says, I want you to have chicken, and I want you to increase your dairy intake. And dairy has been linked to cholesterol and cancer. And I want you to take this medicine by the pharmaceutical industry. So the medicine isn't working, and the diet is making them feel worse. So they're going to tell them to increase. They're going to increase the dose, raising the cost of the medicine, and profiting. The meat dairy industry is profiting off of the cancer patient. Not only that, but the pharmaceutical industry is profiting off of this cancer patient. And they profit even more and more and more and more and more and more until the person is dead. They got their money, but the person is dead. Instead of the doctor saying, don't eat any meat anymore. See, the meat and dairy industry is causing people to get these cancers. If you have a genetic, if heart disease runs in your family, it's probably more than likely not that. it's more than likely the meat that they have been eating for many years has caused them to have heart failure. I don't eat meat personally, but the pharmaceutical industry is profiting off of lives, and so is the meat and dairy industry. They're killing people every single day, and they're making profit out of it. And if you were to stop the meat, if you were to try to make a documentary on what the meat and dairy industry does, record, what goes inside of the factory farms or anything like that, you go to prison. Because we actually, in America, that is set by the corporations, called hamburger laws. And if you tell anybody what's going on inside and behind the walls of the meat and dairy industry, you go to jail. You go to federal prison for life. But that's the causes. But that's how capitalism works. They exploit the cancer patient for money. Now, I personally believe in a somewhat free market. If you want to invest in coal, you can invest in coal. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm making sense. I'm probably not, but I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea. Capitalism is not a good idea. Because, I mean, hell, private prisons are a fucking joke. Private prisons profit off of inmates getting locked up. Every single day. And telephone companies make profit off of inmates making money off of inmates making phone calls. And actually, there's this new program that is a video call thing where prisoners are able to video call. So now that they're actually replacing visitation with those. So instead of actually being able to physically see your family members, they're behind a screen, behind a phone screen, behind a tablet. You don't get to hug them, you don't get to say goodbye to them, nothing. Because the people who run the communication service make money off of that. I don't know. I don't know. Private hospitals should be illegal. Private prisons should be illegal. Hamburger law should be appealed. Factory farming should be illegal. Factory killing should be illegal. Now you're probably wondering, well, what are we going to do for meat? I would highly encourage hunting animals. Because we've been doing that for millennia. Since we were all tribal. Since before we had countries. Since before we had laws, we hunted. And I wouldn't end that. I wouldn't end it. I would highly encourage it. I don't know. I've been babbling on for about 20 minutes now, so I don't know. We need to replace capitalism with socialism, democratic socialism. I'm just fucking flabbergasted. And to the people who are here for Black Lives Matter, it is fucked up. I agree with you, full-heartedly. That's why we need a socialist government. We're no more social biased, no more racial biased, no more unfair treatment of minorities. I don't know. I feel like police officers who kill If they kill an unarmed person, no matter the race, they should be sentenced to death by firing squad. Like, and the laws I would have in place, like, if a man rapes a child, or if anyone rapes a child, they would be sentenced to death. And also I would make it where the person who was raped can kill the rapist. I feel like the molestation of a child should be torture. People who abuse children should be abused themselves. Police officers who abuse their power will get tortured, will get sentenced to life in prison. Non-violent crimes should have normal prisons, but violent crimes, work camps for those who have committed harmful, violent acts against people. And I think we should fly a new flag. Because this is the flag. Hang on, let me clear these notifications. But like, I feel like a new flag should be flown. That shows that, like, this flag right here should be flown. Now, you may be thinking, well, that's communist. You know, people will be intimidated by that. What the hammer and sickle means to me is the labor and the work of the citizens. And these things right here, these things, would be like the citizens, would resemble the work of the citizens. And the star would represent, I feel like the star would represent the things that we stand for: equality, fair justice, freedom, individual rights, and I don't know what the fifth one would be. But this flag may look scary. And yeah, and Russia and China gave communism a bad name. But we're not communist. We're socialist. We should be socialist. As a matter of fact, Karl Marx would be absolutely angry with Russia and China, because Russia, they have an anti-LGBT ordinance. And in Chechnya, they kill off gay people every single day, as we speak, as you're watching this video. And in China, they kill minorities. They kill political prisoners. They kill people who disagree with their government. That is not equal. What Karl Marx wanted was equality for all. That's what he wanted. He wanted everyone to be free. He wanted everyone to be equal. He didn't want this "I'm above you" structure. He didn't want that. He wanted everyone to be free. He wanted everyone to be equal. And Russia and China give him a bad name, and I would be furious if I was him. If I was Karl Marx, I'd be fucking furious. I would tell Russia and China, like, what the fuck are you doing? Killing off gay people? You don't do that. We're supposed to be treating people equal, and yet you're rounding up minorities. And instead of treating everyone equal, China rounds up minorities. I mean, look at Tibet. They're they're destroying Tibet. Karl Marx would be absolutely appalled by this. I don't know. And I feel like the Soviet Union, it was okay. But it didn't treat everyone equal. There was still a class structure, and that's what he didn't want. Not only that, but the USSR invaded countries to force them to be a part of their union. Karl Marx would have been furious at that idea. Like, let's say that we do start something similar to the Soviet Union. Ask countries if they want to be involved. Don't force countries to be involved. That's absolutely ridiculous. Karl Marx would be absolutely flabbergasted at what China and Russia are doing. Now, an almost perfect, it's almost perfect. Vietnam it's almost perfect. Now you're probably thinking of like World War II, Vietnam, stuff like that, but it's actually beyond that. But like Vietnam, citizens don't have internet censorship. People are allowed to use Facebook, Twitter, the various social medias. People are allowed to have free speech. Now, Vietnam is slowly climbing up in the human rights scale. And China is going down on the human rights scale. And I feel like the CCP is going to collapse because they're not doing what Karl Marx wanted. They're going to collapse because Winnie the Pooh is consistently threatening people with violence and trying to take over other countries. And they're even doing that with Russia. Like, I don't know. Karl Marx would be angry at China and Russia. He'd be fucking furious. Not only that, but he'd be angry at America for treating its citizens unfairly and unequally. He'd be kicking and screaming for how we treat minorities and how we treat people who want to enter our country. Who want to escape the fucking bullshit of other countries who treat them like shit. He'd be fucking kicking and screaming. He'd be throwing a huge fit. He would be throwing a fucking tantrum as to how we treat people. He'd be furious, though. Karl Marx would be furious. And I feel like if socialism in America doesn't get shown enough, we won't even think about it. And now you're probably thinking, like, won't we be oppressed? Won't we be this or that? No, you won't. We will still have the Constitution. The Constitution is federal law. We wouldn't change that for a second. If anything, it'd be strengthened. Because I feel like the Constitution is the most equal thing. It's like the cradle of equality. All men are created equal. The right to freedom of speech. Right to freedom of assembly. Unfair and uncruel punishments. Equal courts have to be fair. And I love that. I love the Constitution so much. And if we don't like something on it, we can change it. That's what court is for. That's what... I don't know. But... we need a new government. And I'm tired of this one. I mean, socialism may work for the 1%, but not socialism, but capitalism may work for the 1%, but it's not working for me. And, yeah. Well, this has been 30 minutes, so I'm going to go and get off here. Like I said, please fight for equality. Fight for George Floyd. Fight for minorities. Fight for equality. And to the police officers who are continuously disobeying federal law, enjoy it while it lasts. Because your reign of terror is about to end. Goodbye.